Hello everyone, this is David Gomez from the 151 IPU assembly here in Geneva, and I have the pleasure to be here with Honorable Fatou Cham from the Gambia. I met Honorable Fatou Cham as she was making so powerful a statement about how the people in the Gambia is ready to vote for women. So, Honorable Cham, please let us know first, how did you land in that statement, and what has inspired you to take the role that you have right now?
Thank you very much, a representative or a spokesperson from the PMNCH. And the reason why I came here, the reason why I'm contesting, I contested as a female parliamentarian because I want the voice of women to be heard clearly. That's one of the reasons that I contested. And then, of course, I also want the decisions that we will made upon women so that women can also be part of those decision makings, and also to eradicate the social norms that are the existing social norms in the Gambia, that the voice of women should not be heard. And these are some of the barriers that women are having, to be elected in parliaments, and of course positions like parliaments and councils. So these are some of the reasons that motivated me to contest as a female parliamentarian. And of course, Gambia is ready to vote in women parliamentarians. I will take myself as an example because during our elections in 2022, I got the majority of votes in the country. So that's a clear testimony that Gambians are now ready to vote in women parliamentarians and, of course, in other decision-making positions.
That is fantastic, and I understand that there is only 5 seats out of 51 that are held by women, but you are the most voted one. So, what is your message to those young ladies from the Gambia that are looking at you right now, and when they approach their adulthood and the ambitions and aspirations of what they can achieve in life?
The clear message that I will give to young women in the Gambia, of course, to come on board and join politics, and of course, to get away from the ideas that women cannot be elected in decision-making positions. Yes, this is possible. I'm taking Honorable Fatou as an example. And of course, the other thing is like the importance of women's voices to be clearly heard. And we are only 5 female members in the Parliament of the Gambia, and which it has decreased considering the last legislature, which was the 5th legislature. It was 6 members, and the Speaker of the Gambian Parliament was a woman. But then now it has decreased to 5 women parliamentarians, and out of 5, which only 3 women were elected. And out of the 3 women who were elected, I am the only female elected member by a party. Okay. And of course, that shows the role of my party had contributed in my elections to bring up a woman parliamentarian. And of course, this is possible with all parties. So I'm also sending that message to all political parties to consider bringing a woman, female aspiring candidates to contest, and then give them all support to make sure that we have more women representation in the Parliament of the Gambia. And then also the message clearly sent to girls or the female youths in the Gambia that yes, let them come on board, join political parties to contest for candidates for the parliamentary and local government elections as well. So that's very important so that their voices can equally be heard.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chan. I know you're a very busy woman. I have one last question for you.
That's okay.
And it's a little bit provocative one, actually, because now that you've been in the parliament and it's understood that it's important for women to have a voice and to make choices that regard yourselves, is there one example that you can think of that now that you're holding this position, that you have taken that privilege and that you have been part of the decision making where you are deciding about the health and well-being of women?
Well, that's very true. I have been part of the decision making in several occasions that was taken by the parliament, because as I said, not necessarily that all the time men have to be taking decision against women in parliament, whether favorable or unfavorable. The decision making with women, of course, our voices need to be heard in terms of support to women in horticultural and of course in entrepreneurship, because right now our government is giving slight support in terms of women entrepreneurs, which I still advocate for an increment of that support to the women entrepreneurs, because I always quote an example like Ghana, Kenya, and other countries that women entrepreneurs are the richest people in some countries like that. So supporting women entrepreneurs, that's very, very important. And then also some of the decision making that we had, of course, because there was a bill that came before the parliament, or that is coming before the parliament, by the gender committee, our gender, children and social welfare committee, which I am deputizing.
Okay.
And we're trying to bring up a bill, a committee bill, to make sure that women participation in Gambian parliament will also increase. Of course, there was not such bill in fifth legislature. Then I was not with the parliament, because this is my first time in the parliament of the Gambia. But the bill could not pass. But this time we are bringing it as a committee bill, and of course having support with some men whom we call he for she's, and a lot of decision making in terms of budgeting. We have a ministry called the Gender, Children and Social Welfare Ministry. And anytime when that bill budget comes, in terms of budget bilateral, we, the women, will also contribute to make sure that that ministry's budget is highly recommended in terms of, because considering that women are the majority in the Gambia. So we take part in most of the decision making of such financial status and all that. It's very important.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Rebel Cham. I think there is a lot to learn from you, and I think the call to action is clear. Is the people of the Gambia are ready to vote for women, and how important it is for women leadership, and that women are the ones making the decisions that concern their health and their well-being.
Yeah, the reason why I'm always saying that women, people in the Gambia are really ready to vote in women parliamentarians, and of course women in the councils as well, like councillors and others, and of course chieftaincies and others.
Yeah.
Because I am a clear testimony of that.
Of course.
Because since the independence of Gambia in 1965, Gambia had never, ever elected a woman just like what they did for me. Because having the majority out of 53 elected members, I got the majority of votes in the country. So that's a clear testimony that Gambians are now ready to bring in more women parliamentarians. And of course, this is institutions like IPU, UNFPA, and other major institutions are also advocating so that women representation in parliaments can also be increased. But then there are some challenges, there are some social norms that is preventing, which are the barriers of not bringing women to parliament, and how to break those barriers. One is for women to come on board and participate in politics to make sure that they will be elected and represent other women in parliament, because the voice of women needs to be heard. And then also to be part of the decision making for women in terms of budget allocations for women, in terms of support to women, and of course in terms of major decision makings to make sure that women are also in forefront of all decisions that are to be taken by parliaments. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. And if you have just 30 more seconds, because we'll be talking about barriers.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes that can be abstract. Is there any concrete example that you can tell us, like, or the main barriers that you have identified that are stopping women from leadership roles in the government?
Some of the main barriers is bullying, I can say, in some countries, because there are some women, of course, no woman or no person, even not a man, wants to be bullied. You understand? But these are some of the barriers that will deter women from coming on board to contest. But then what I am telling my fellow women is, once you want to contest as a candidate, once you want to contest for parliamentary or whatever position, decision-making position, you must have a thick skin. You must have a thick skin. Thick skin in a sense, you move away with all bullies or whatsoever, which will be upon you. And then also some of the barriers, most importantly in the Gambia, is the social norms, that the voice of women shouldn't be ahead of the voice of a man. And to me, I think it starts from our early age. When we are young, when we were young as girls, in families, due to the way I observe it, when a male child, was attacked or is attacked by a friend outside the house, and the mother or the father will be ready to fight for that male child. Will not be ready to fight for that male child, because all that they will tell that male child is, you go and fight back. Are you not a man?
Right.
That's one thing. And but when a female child is attacked by a girl, right, then they will be ready, the parents will be ready to fight for that girl child. So it means the girl child is not prepared to stand firm to revenge or to retaliate.
Okay.
So they will be there in order to fight for the male woman child. And this I think we need to look at very properly, very, very well.
Right.
Let's leave girl child to fight for herself just like the male child, so that
Of
we can
course.
stand firm, we can our voices can be heard clearly, and of course we can stand with a thick skin to make sure we overcome all the challenges that we might be encountering in our life.
Right. So if I get your message right, then it's treat the girl as you treat the boy.
Yeah, yeah, treat the girl as you treat the boy.
There is no difference, and then what you're doing is by protecting them so much,
Yeah.
you're probably harming them more.
Yeah, exactly. I know these are parents protecting their girl child. It's just a sign of protection for the girl child. But then it's also harming the girl child when we are not realizing it. Because you don't need to be fighting for the girl child and you ask the male child to go and fight back.
Right.
So you should sometimes let the girl child to go and fight back. So that prepares the girl child to be strong and then fight for any challenges that might come over her, to overcome all the challenges.
Of course, and then so this is basically a way to, in a generation, let's say, to when they grow up and they are facing this position and potentially this bullying, but that's not tackling the real issue, which is the bullying itself. It's a solution. It's a let's say a band-aid to the problem. How can we stop this bullying? How can we address the actual root of the problem, of that barrier? We have countries, we have just heard from Namibia, for example, where they have 50% of representation now in the parliament.
Yeah.
So what do you think would be the actual driver to tackle this issue from the root cause?
Yeah, the actual driver to tackle this situation is one. Most of the time, the bullying comes through cyber crime. So we need to come up with that. The countries needs to come up with that cyber security. We
Okay.
need to put our laws in place to make sure that the bullying is forbidden in the country. Well, we need to come up with laws that will also protect women, because sometimes, most of the time, women candidates will be attacked and be calling names that they might not even think of. That's one challenge. But once we come with a law, with a very tangible law that will protect that aspiring candidate, especially the female aspiring candidate, you understand? Because we find all this in cyber crimes.
Yeah.
You understand? In internet and whatsoever. We know how digital life works, how works life
Yeah.
with now. And then this is very, very important, because they will prepare you as if you're somebody different from that person whom you are. You understand? So we have to come with a very, very important laws that will protect that person in order to contest in her rightful way to become a parliamentarian or to join the legislature. It's very important. That is coming up with the laws.
Fantastic. So is legislation again
Yeah.
the answer, and again on your power?
Yeah.
And I hope that the more people that you are inspiring
Yep.
are gonna, well, help us.
Yeah, sure,
Help
sure.
you, help more women be on the position that you are, holding this wonderful opportunity to decide for yourselves. And congratulations again for being the most voted
Thank you very much.
member
Thank
of
you.
parliament in the Gambia.
Thank you.
I'm sure it's a great honor for you, but an inspiration for many other women that are looking after you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And also to say thank you to your institution for making sure that women highly recognized, to advocate for more women representation in all sectors, not only parliament, but as I said, in councils and other decision entities, which is very, very important. And then your institution also giving support to make sure that women are healthy, of course, to make sure that the children and adolescents have their rightful ways to join any other thing that might be rightful for them. Thank you very
Fantastic.
much. Thank you.
No, thank
And
you so
thanks
much.
for having
and-
me as well.